Okay, this is different since 7-3 was x squared plus bx plus c. Notice the a is highlighted here because now it's not going to be a 1 in front. It's going to be some other number in front of the x squared, which poses kind of a problem when it comes to factoring. So when we factor, we always see if there's a GCF first, but there is no GCF for our example, 4x squared plus 8x minus 5. We can't take a GCF of all three of those terms. So therefore, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply a times c. So 4 times negative 5, negative 20. So this time we want two things that multiply to AC, which is the negative 20, but add to negative 8. So they still add to B. Okay, so we want them to multiply to negative 20 that add product of negative 20 that add to 8. So let's see what our options are. We've got, I know 2 and 10 makes a difference of 8, so I'm going to start there. So I could do 2 and negative 10, or I could do negative 2 and 10. Well, this one has a sum of 8. So that's good. So our factors then are negative 2 and 10. Step 2, we're going to form two binomials, placing the variable used with two factors you found in step 1. So instead of writing 8x, we're going to break this down to negative 2x plus 10x, the two factors that we found. So let me write them with an x here. So I'm going to write these. I wrote down the steps for you on the side. We have already multiplied a times c. We split the b into two factors. Now I'm going to rewrite those four terms. Oops. What was it? 4x squared plus 8x minus 5. (4x squared minus 8x plus 8x minus 5). Okay, so what that means is that negative 8x doesn't exist anymore. Positive 8x. Sorry. That positive 8x doesn't exist anymore. It became negative 2x plus 10x. So I'm not going to write that 8x. So I'm going to just rewrite my four terms. 4x squared minus 2x plus 10x and the minus 5 at the end. Now that I have four terms, I can use factor by grouping. That's what I wanted. So to factor by grouping, we did this in 7-2, where we're going to take out the GCF. Well, I know that the GCF of both of these is 2x, so I'm basically dividing both of these by 2x. The GCF goes outside, and what's remaining goes inside. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, x squared divided by x is x. Minus, and then 2 divided by 2 is 1, and x divided by x makes the x go away, so it's just minus 1. Plus, now I'm going to take something out of the next group. What can I divide out of both of these? Looks like I can divide a 5 out of both of them. So I'm going to divide both by 5. 10x divided by 5 is 2x. Oops, I forgot to put the 5 outside. And 5 divided by 5 is negative 1. The negative 5 divided by 5, negative 1. Okay, so I did have twins. I needed those. That's what we like when that happens. Right there. So I write my GCF in one group, 2x plus 5 in one group, and 2x minus 1 in the next. And that's my final answer. If I FOIL that, it'll take me back to the 4x squared plus 8x minus 5. Okay, so again, following those steps, to factor with an a, an a different from 1, not equal to 1, I do a times c, which is 30. Then I need two things that multiply to 30 that add to b, which is negative 11. Okay, so two things that multiply to 30. So I can list them all out. I have 3 and 10. I have 1 and 30. 2 and 15. 5 and 6. And right there I see that those add to 11. It took me a minute to find them. But it has to add to negative 11, which means both of them need to be negative. So multiply to a positive 30, but add to a negative. They both would have to be negative. So then I rewrite what that is that's splitting the b. So it's negative 5x and negative 6x. So I'm going to rewrite this as 3x squared minus 5x plus negative 6x. I'm going to let it look weird just for a second before I put the parentheses in. And then plus 10. So factor by grouping. And then from there I take the what I can divide out of both of them. So in the first one I can divide them both by x. So that's going to be my GCF. And on the inside you'll have 3x minus 5 left. And then the next one I can divide both of these by 2. And I would end up with negative 3x. So the 2 came out negative 3x plus 5. Well, that's different. These aren't twins. In order to fix that, what I can do is I can change the sign. I can take out a negative from both of these. If I divide this by a negative, it becomes negative. Divide this by a negative, and it becomes positive, and I took out a negative, so the GCF comes out. So now they match. So I have an x and a negative 2 for the first group, and my matching binomials, which is 3x minus 5. Follow the same steps again. So a times c, which is 24. Split the b, two things that multiply to 24 that add to 11, 8 and 3. So I can call that 8x plus 3x. So that doesn't exist anymore. Rewrite my 4 terms, 2x squared plus 8x plus 3x plus 12. Put parentheses so I can do factor by grouping since there were 4 terms here. In the first group I can divide both by 2x. So 2x comes outside, and what's left inside you would have 1x, and 8 divided by 2 is 4, and the x's cancel there, so it's x plus 4. And what can we take out of the next group? I can divide both of those by 3. So that would leave me with x plus 4. So I see that I have my twins the same there. And so I have 2x plus 3 in the first group and x plus 4 in the second.